Beautiful souls, welcome. It's so wonderful to see you, everyone here. What a joy. Welcome, Terry Nicholas from Pennsylvania.
Survival.
I'm going to go ahead and share this live, let people know that we're here for those that want to join us. There we go. Beautiful. All right. All right, so we have a lot to talk about today, guys. Yes, very interesting, powerful energies are all around us, in us, and through us in this transformational time. So, main themes, really, really beautiful energy for deep, deep, heavy work. So today I really want to try to get into that, into those little crevices of the parts of ourselves that are still in resistance. And really, the theme of today is about embracing expansion, the expansion of yourself in its full, authentic expression, fearlessly, fearlessly. I think that with so much division, with so much distraction, with so much external stimulation, there's a certain fear of what happens if we come into our full potential and embrace that and our full embodiment of truth in a moment when things are so volatile and there's so much compartmentalization of beliefs, ideas, segregating groups of people. Please understand that this is an illusion for us, but it's a temporary phase that humanity has to go through as we adjust in our understanding of what is a priority. And my invitation is that the sooner we understand that the priority of this time is to come in harmony with nature, which means that come into right order with the things that are truly in alignment holistically for all, not just one certain group or one idealism. This is going to change the paradigm that we have been repeating for many generations. And it's also going to change the direction of human potential, because many generations, many ancient civilizations, which we have all existed in through, we failed sometimes in some of these experiences, and we allowed the material to take over the spiritual divine connection of the etheric aspect of the human, which is actually the largest aspect of ourselves. And when I say fail, I want to be cautious with that word, because it's not as if we truly fail, but it was part of our journey and our lesson. And many of you that have, I work with a lot of you in hypnotherapy. You guys have reached very high levels of consciousness in your life, and you wouldn't be here if you hadn't, because you are recovering a memory that is familiar to you, which you know deeply. It's an innate part of the construct of greater understanding, the laws of the universe, which, younger souls might not always deeply comprehend. And that's perfect. That's perfect, because every single soul is going through an evolutionary process of exploration. The entire organism is actually harmonized, and we are in a harmonic order. Regardless where we are or what we're thinking, we're still creating harmony. So that's one thing to understand. There is no right or wrong, but the invitation is that as we go deeper within ourselves, we begin to understand what is in right order with us. And really important right now that I'm noticing with a lot of these strong energies is that externalizing our power, externalizing our energy, looking outside for validation, for comforts, for controlling our environment, controlling others, controlling our expression, judgments. This is a very depleting energy of life force, and I'm seeing it a lot in our sessions this week. These are deep subconscious. This is a pattern that I'm seeing come up a lot. What that means is that we're really learning how to really redirect our life force internally to create that centripetal spin of life force that is then coming into that full creation. And we're doing it on a higher octave than we have been other stages of our evolution, which is interesting because we have to understand instant manifestation. We have to understand the responsibility of those manifestations. We have to understand also taking accountability for your creative thought, creative emotion, creative actions, creative intentions, which remember that you're a multidimensional being and you're creating from many aspects of yourself, not just one. And so that's something that we are training as a young civilization. We are training to become multidimensional in all of those aspects in a way that is deeply, deeply empowering and healing. And that will require us to be extremely authentic with all parts of ourselves. So let's talk a little bit about that. And thank you so much for joining everyone on Zoom and on the YouTube. What a gift to share with you guys. Let me pin us over here. And I'm going to open a presentation. Please put your questions in capital letters. I would love to answer them. Hello, Julie, Aquamarine. So great to see you. Inga, wonderful to see you. Let me go ahead and open the PowerPoint here. And so one of the aspects that I really want to share with you that I noticed as a result of this conversation of coming into a deeper expansion is that really what causes us to come into contraction is the need, our vision becomes very small, very myopic. We want to remember that whatever we're experiencing externally, we're seeing it through a filter. And that filter is a very powerful filter that really defines through resonance what we are attracting, what we are engaging with, and what is the potential next timeline for us. So we can choose timelines, we can change timelines, we can redirect, we can change our moment in an instant. But what has to align is the deep subconscious belief systems and the intention, and then the action. These three aspects of ourselves. This is very much a biochemical, bioelectrical system of co-creation that the human is harnessing their creative life force with intention. So intention is super important in this time, because if you are confused about your intention, your results are also going to be in that way. But I'm noticing that things are also changing quite quickly. So the moment you begin to shift your way of belief in that moment, what you're seeing, what you're focusing on, you can also change the timeline that is available to you. And it's very interesting. There are many layers to this human experience. And let me just open up this PowerPoint to share with you, because I want to talk about the energy body. Get into it. Okay, so many things I want to talk about today, but let me start here. In terms of manifestation, the topics of how we are manifesting. Manifestation comes from deep subconscious core belief systems. Now, your subconscious core belief systems are created by first ancestral. So we are influenced as a soul. Let's talk about bigger picture. As a soul, your purpose here on this planet, there's many purposes, and we are moving through different timelines, different potentials all the time, depending on what we're doing in the present moment with our life force and how we manage our life force from this human vessel projecting bioelectrically into the system of hologram, the creative hologram of experience. It depends on subconscious core belief systems. Now, subconscious core belief systems, from the perspective that, let's say we have a brain that processes all of the bioelectrical emotions in the body, bioelectrical and biochemical emotions in the body, those are memorized patterns of contraction or expansion. Okay? Memorized patterns of contraction or expansion, Those are the patterns that we have to work with. All of this shadow work is really about looking at those memorized patterns of whether we are in states of contraction or expansion. So I want you to take a look at yourself over the past week and just observe how much of the time did you spend in states of contraction? How much of the time were we in states of resistance, in this illusion of control, needing to control the external world, needing to manipulate, needing to influence in a way that is changing our current environment because we are in resistance or in denial with our current environment? That is very important. And I'm seeing that a lot, especially with such polarizing political issues that are occurring in the world. We want to impose our ideas. We want to implement, what is right, what is wrong. And that's just on a superficial level. When you go deep inside, it's a reflection of what's happening to us internally, because there are certain internal battles about what we are, the worth of a person, the value, the creative potential of a human that is coming into question. And it's important that we do this work because where we're headed as a civilization is that we are shifting in our creative potential. We are shifting from becoming robotic beings, doing things unconsciously in repetition, into learning how to become pure creative beings that are sovereign and that are fully in control, or intentionally co-creating, I should say, not control, intentionally co-creating. That is a very different existence, different way of being. So this bioelectrical system that we have here, as we begin to observe the patterns of contraction, in the patterns of contraction are specific emotions that we hold on to. Now, with these intense cosmic movements, these emotional contractions are highlighted. They are highlighted and they are stronger than ever before. It will feel like very difficult to get through certain emotional states, very difficult to peel away or break. So we have to initiate kind of a pattern interrupt. And what does that look like? Exactly what you might not think: absolute stillness and absolute observation. It's the absolute coming into non-resistance of what you're feeling. And that's like allowing that emotion to exist in your body. It is the resistance that creates suffering, the resistance that creates contraction. And this resistance goes really deep in our subconscious mind. On a superficial level, it's what we're feeling, or judgment, pure, simple, teeny little judgments. I don't like that color blue. I don't like that color green. I don't like this, the way that this table is set up. Every time that we have contracting thoughts, pay attention to how your body is in a state of contraction or expansion. Because these are waves of creative frequency that, as we go into higher octaves, become more instantaneously impactful. So right now, in this dimensional plane that we exist, things are still kind of slow. They take a little time to manifest into the physical. And there's this wonderful opportunity for us to pause and change, if we want to, what we're thinking or what we're feeling. But very few of us take the pause. Very few of us take that pause. So to come into that pause is the 0 point. If we can cultivate the 0 point every moment of our day, if we can cultivate that 0 point, that pause moment to observe what is happening and to really question, is this in alignment with me? Is this thought form something that's truly my truth? Or am I in survival mode? Am I acting in order to be accepted, approved, not rejected, loved by anyone around me? It can literally be in a grocery store when you don't know anyone, but you react in a way that you know will gain the approval, the acceptance of those around you, people you don't even know. So these deep subconscious core belief systems are things that I really invite you to observe at this time, because these are conflicting thoughts. And what happens is that we become desensitized from the pause, because the pause requires us to really sit with the emotion, sit with the discomfort of having to choose in that moment, and actually to choose to listen to your true, authentic need in that moment. Self-love is the embodiment of meeting needs, listening. Remember, we are becoming the parents of the internal children that lie within us that have not been parented in ways, in many ways throughout our development. And we are mothering not only the internal children in our current timeline, we are mothering interdimensional, galactic children, which we are in very early evolutionary spiritual stages, stages of consciousness that we are nurturing back into wholeness, because we are kind of uncovering that sleepy hypnosis where we have forgotten who we are as a whole. And who we are as a whole is definitely not only the physical vessel that you are in this moment, but your acceptance, your unconditional radical self-acceptance of the vessel in this moment is the key to unlocking all that you are. Once again, this is the exact resistance that we're talking about. If any part of you feels that you reject, you hate, you judge, you don't like certain parts of yourself, this is the invitation to begin to work with that rejection. Because here's what happens when we create contractive thoughts. And this is even in that grocery store example. Because innately your body, a human body in right order, natural state. For example, when you wake up in the morning, your mind is super clear. It's calm, right? Your body has had time to restore. Your nervous system has calmed down. The mind is silent for at least a few minutes. It's those minutes that there's clarity, there's health in your body, there is calmness. That moment is the moment that I invite you to prolong into your day, because in that moment, your energy field is actually radiant, full, and it's not contracted, it is expanded. So when we go into nature, we come back into that right order, we come back into that right balance. The body begins to become ignited, filled with that life force, with infinite life force that surrounds us. So we are learning how to embody this state, this natural state of connection. So we really just need to get out of our own way by quieting this monkey mind, the survival mind, the survival mechanisms that we have, in order to allow the innate self to come into its expression, into its embodiment. So the practices basically come into the 0 point. Okay, so the practice is essentially come into the non-judgmental observer. That's the invitation. And every time that we do that, we actually bring life force back into the body. So we talked about the source cord last week, which is super important for this conversation, because the source cord essentially is the infinite potential that animates this entire organic system. Electrically, the way that life force is moving through your body is through this toroidal movement. And the toroidal movement created by these two vortices that are created by your 7 chakra system and millions of chakras that you have in and outside of your body, right? So these spinning fields are moving interdependently, and they are organizing the life force in your body. So this image actually, it's gigantic, your field. It's not just the human body. As you know, we have many fields. And so all of these layers of your body, which are dimensions of yourself, are intercommunicating with separate organs. And so that spiral toroidal movement is also occurring in the organs of the body. They all have their own internal toroidal fields. The heart being, the largest magnetic field of the physical body. So remember that in alchemy, we are learning how to integrate the lower, the middle, and the upper dantian in order to be able to expand our field in a harmonic order with the universe. The universe is also spinning. The entire solar system is spinning in that way. The universe is spinning in that way. We are all going through these evolutionary cycles. And it's not like we're necessarily moving through space. We're existing it's a mathematical, geometric structure of life force that is moving. It's going through different octaves of vibrational frequency. And so as we begin to open up the heart by alchemizing the lower frequencies, we begin to activate the higher faculties. So let's talk a little bit about these higher faculties, because your core creation system is first your vision. Your vision is one aspect of your creation system, right? Because you are seeing rays of light that are producing signals, symbols that you translate, and based on the information that you have encoded in the library of memory, you begin to apply that to what with the symbols. You apply meaning to the things that you're experiencing. So the pause that we want to create is in between going into our active memory, which is everything that we've experienced that we remember. And all of that experience, we apply meaning to the symbols that we're receiving externally. If we can learn how to pause and to become aware, first of all, where does our library of memory come from? And this is the deep shadow work. If your library of memory is all learned experiences from others without ever having revisited your belief systems in a way to truly understand if you're in alignment with your own core beliefs, that's the number one area that we have to focus on, because those are your subconscious beliefs. What happens in the physical body when we begin to access a memory and we can't find in the filing cabinet of memory how to respond to the symbolism or these objects, experiences that are presenting to us. We don't know how to respond to that. We begin to disassociate with the body because something happens that is trained within us from the survival mind. We want to check out. We want to disassociate because we don't trust what is innately our authentic expression, our authentic understanding. You see, the observer has the access to the infinite potential. The human that is in a state of observation opens up the pathways of infinite potential through the source chord. But what that also means is that they're activating their 7th and their 8th chakra. They're opening the 7th and the 8th chakra. The 7th chakra is your higher self. The 7th chakra is also the access point to the Akashic records, the DNA of the earth. And as you begin to activate your 8th, you begin to activate the much universal mind, right? Your galactic, starseed memories, advanced, higher octave manifestations of yourself. That is the DNA of the universe, you can say. But when I say concepts like universe, I'm not really talking about time, space, and planets. I'm talking about the field of consciousness that we tap into. And it doesn't necessarily have any form. It is the field of consciousness that you tap into. But if we are not able to activate the higher faculties are blocked by being in the survival mind. And what happens is that the life force that fills this body, animates this body, becomes contracted. This infinite potential is at a higher octave vibrational frequency. It cannot enter into the body, and we disassociate. So what happens is that the mind starts to, if you were to observe yourself, you would notice that you actually do have the answer within you. You actually know how to respond in a way that's more holistic and more truthful and aligned with right order of yourself and all. But you doubt. We don't have a cultivation of self-trust. The lack of cultivation with self-trust is the doubt in our intuition. It's the doubt in the higher knowing. And a lot of times that higher intuition is going to be a much more balanced feminine masculine energy, feminine masculine perception. That's really hard for people that have trained themselves in survival mode in an imbalanced feminine or an imbalanced masculine. So it's going to feel like danger. It's going to feel like a lot of danger. And this is something that is programmed in our nervous system. We will literally think that peaceful moments are dangerous. We will think that moments of harmony are threatening. We will believe for a certain moment that being in a state of truth or your authentic expression is very vulnerable in a way that is destructive to yourself. Those are two things. They're indoctrinated by many systems in our world, but they are also deep. It's a human lesson. It's the whole purpose of the human existence, to learn how to integrate the material human experience with the higher aspect of ourselves. Because in order for us to integrate the feminine masculine energy, we have to balance those dualistic aspects. The divine feminine and the divine masculine, when it's unified, it is the 0 point. The 0 point is that balanced state, regulated nervous system, fully grounded in your body, which means that you're not denying any truth, you're not resisting any truth of yourself or the external, and you are holding in your body a vibrational frequency that can sustain higher ranges. You see, truth is not just a psychological perception. The real truth is actually all potential frequencies, the ability to sustain and process through your organism all frequencies. So as a human experiencing this terrestrial realm, our everyday lives, relationships, how is your relationship with truth? Your real truth and the truth of others. If you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't even really, address, or I can't say what I think, I can't really, say my truth in this moment. We are learning how to transcend that limitation on many dimensions, not just in this physical realm. We are learning to transcend that in dream state, because in dream state, you are accessing higher dimensional planes. You are accessing lives, many other simultaneous lives that are also evolving simultaneous to this one. And every decision that you make in this dimensional plane affects other simultaneous lives that you exist in. And also, the lives that you have access to in this current time, we are collaborating and sharing information of our evolutionary learning through the DNA in vivo, epigenetically. Every single fractal of yourself that exists in other dimensions going through their own evolutionary process. Through this epigenetic process, this is not just only for humans. It's because our concept of DNA right now is like, oh, the physical body, how does this work? No, epigenetic is an etheric, there's etheric epigenetics as well. Because essentially what our soul and how we process infinite potential through this physical vessel affects the greater whole. And we know we can understand this in a very deep way, because when we're going through the process of death and we leave the body and we begin to understand, oh, the meaning of life. When you look at your life, you're like, oh, in this lifetime, it was interesting to have experienced transcending fear of my communication. Okay, because many lifetimes I was not able to access that. So you see that those epigenetically are encoded in this DNA, DNA, which it's a universal DNA, because we are all and nothing simultaneously. You are a fractal of consciousness that is emerging from an ocean of consciousness. And your human body here on this planet Earth is experiencing a temporary reality, a temporary holographic experience in order to learn different facets of this current phase. And yeah, so we are kind of collaborating with many other lifetimes in our evolutionary process, which is why you guys have guides. Your guides are communications of frequencies from these other aspects to help you understand how to transcend certain levels of limitations that you're learning to overcome at this time. But a message that I keep getting over and over again for the past few months, because of the direction that our world is taking right now, where we're going to begin to explore space travel, going into other planets, and you know, do all that. You see, the human is learning how to dominate the ego self that is self-serving and acting from survival. When the human acts from survival and is self-serving, it causes suffering, always, to itself primarily, and to the whole. So the invitation is that as we're making these major changes in our human experience, that we do so in a way that is very mindful of how everything we do is affecting the whole. This is unity consciousness, and it's something that is foreign to us right now because we haven't had to really understand what that is. But as our human race evolves into, I guess, another kind of space age, multidimensionality, we are being gently guided into that understanding, which is a universal truth. And it's a universal truth that all of humanity is learning right now. We're graduating, we're initiating into that deep understanding. So I also see this is the larger picture in the physical world. For example, the idea of going to Mars. There's many plans for going to Mars, terraforming a different planet, moon, you know, different things like that. But the ways in which, for example, these powers are planning on doing that is highly destructive to the energetic field of this planet and also those planets. And those are things that we don't understand because we're not understanding how interconnected this construct functions. Our DNA, for example, when we heal something in ourselves, we shift the vibrational frequency of our entire ancestral lineage. That's not just a little idea. That's a very real thing. I see it in my clients' healings all the time. It's very powerful. And the human body animates more life force when we heal something, because we are healing ancestrally in the DNA, core belief systems that were limited energy, blocked energy from many generations. That is all moving through you or not moving through you. And you're aware of it. And it's what holds you in the patterns of your behaviors, psychologically, emotionally, bioelectrically. So when we think of these larger movements in the universe that are happening, we are going to really understand the universe when we really understand what DNA is, because DNA is, it's this, micro model. It's a fractal of how this greater whole is functioning. In DNA, when you change something, it really changes the entire organism because it's a holographic system. So in our world, when we make major changes to our society, we are also doing the same thing. So we have to take that into consideration when we think about going to other planets, when we think of expanding our reach. Another part that I want to mention in terms of this evolutionary cycle, because we are moving from one octave to another. Previously, our human body was functioning on 13 main dimensional bodies. And some people were able to access more than that, right? Those that were awake and understood these things. So none of these things are new. These are things that have existed and that are truths for since always, because it's the way that this construct exists. But as we are activating into a higher octave, as we are moving into a higher octave, we are having access to more chakra bodies. Those chakra bodies are influencing our human life. It's what allows us to become multidimensional through our higher faculties. It's what allows us to communicate with our guides in a way that is really clear, really open. So when we do our healing energetic hygiene, we are learning how to come fully into the embodiment of this body, to be grounded in this body. Because if you're not grounded in this body, you cannot access the information. You cannot translate that information that is available to you. The activation of these higher chakra bodies is the ability to process higher bands of frequency. That's really what's happening. So, as I mentioned, we are coming out of a contractive phase for humanity. The entire human race is moving out of a contractive state. So some people say we're going from the third to fourth to fifth dimension. The way I see it as physics is that we're constantly moving through many dimensions at once. Okay, because that's actually how our multidimensional bodies function. So we are all moving into a higher octave collectively, but it's a higher octave of all dimensional planes, as they were not previously accessible to us before. So when the human body begins to clear out the junk inside of their toroidal field, the physical body, we can then access the higher faculties. The seventh chakra, which is the DNA of the earth, it is the Akashic records, which allows you to access into also past lives. That's the DNA of the earth. All the incarnations in this life, many generations, your ancestral history, ancestral memory, that is all inside of the seventh chakra. But it's also beyond that. It's also, Pleiadian, Arcturian, your starseed bloodlines, your starseed memories. When you start going into the eighth, as I mentioned earlier, you are connecting to this field of consciousness. And there's really less form in these higher octaves. The lower the frequency, the more form things are going to have. The higher the frequency, the less form they're going to have. And That's an important tip for you when you're discerning your experiences. Okay, so let's take a look at how it works in DNA. Remember that the majority of your DNA, which is the non-encoding DNA, is storing the memory of your field. So all of your dimensional layers of your body, which are, from the seventh and out, are what is in the non-encoding DNA. And when I say non-encoding, it's always encoding, but it's not affecting your physical vessel. It doesn't change your anatomy. It doesn't change your shape. It doesn't change your form. It's an epigenetic information. So in the holographic epigenetic system, you are informing and activating the memory that is dormant inside of your field, which is all of your starseed memory, ancestral memory that allows you to navigate and heal in this timeline. So, what happens when we begin to come fully into the physical body? In that 0 point, in that stillness, in the state of non-judgmental observation, is that you can begin to work with this memory in a way that is conducive to you. In a lot of my hypnotherapy sessions, especially in the past couple months, the energies have shifted tremendously. People are accessing very key information about simultaneous lives in a way that helps their soul expand their vision, expand their understanding of themselves. And again, what I notice over time and time again is that it's not so much, when I say activation, it just means lifting the veil upon what's already been there. It's already existed. In your innate self, in yourself right here, right now, in the present moment, you are already connected to infinite potential. You are already this field of consciousness. It's just the little physical body that has memorized bad habits of holding memory, the bad habit of believing that it's in survival. It's just a little habit. This habit has to be lovingly nurtured back into a stable nervous system through the parenting, the reparenting, the constant parenting of the divine mother and father within yourself that nurtures that little internal child. The ego that we talk about, the ego, is the internal children that you have within you that have unmet needs. That's all. That's all it is. So as we lovingly take a look at this internal child, every time you feel a really contracted emotion in your body that feels really difficult to overcome, I want you to connect with that emotion in your body, connect with the discomfort, the contraction, and see what little child is there. What does that little child look like? Some of you might see an ego that looks like a little demon or a little monster or a little, a little humpback guy, whatever it is. People see all kinds of things. It's the symbolism. But in that symbolism, as you pay attention to what that little being looks like physically, you can tune into the feelings and the emotions, the emotional needs that have not been met. Sometimes these beings look starved. Sometimes they look empty. They look unloved, unworthy. They look cold, contracted, all of this symbolism that helps you understand your subconscious mind. Because that little internal child is actually a projection of your subconscious mind. The gift of this work is that when you meet the needs of that little child, you expand your vision. How do you activate intuition? Working with these internal children. Because your intuition is going to be completely tainted by the filters of perception that are running your belief system at this current moment. If your belief system is that you are alone, separate, fearful, disconnected, in survival, this will affect your intuition. You will not be able to see the whole. To see the whole means to see your absolute truth, your raw, authentic truth, without any limitation, without fear, and then see others' truths and not feel threatened by those external events, external truths. This is psychologically how we begin to shift the energetic body. The human body has such an incredible, expansive potential. And when we begin to activate that, we begin to recover the memory of all that we are. This is where the human comes into a deeper state of peace, because you begin to understand that we're not in survival, first of all. We understand basic laws of the universe. We are not trying to avoid death. You might discover that many of you are actually more afraid of life than you are of death. Because life is engaging. It takes responsibility. It takes, we have to really engage in life and take responsibility for our creation. And that's intimidating for a lot of people. So this is where we start to go down to the basic, most important fundamental laws of creation and of self-love. The redirection of your life force from the external, always looking for those little children that need to have their needs met, are looking outside of themselves for that. They look for a father, they look for a mother, they look for a partner, they look for a friend, they look for a spiritual guide. Everybody knows the truth other than themselves. This is the core belief system. Well, the fact is that you are the library of infinite information. And this is not just a fantasy. In my internal work, in meditation, what I discovered is that as you begin to deprogram your traumas, your limiting belief systems, and you allow the real self to be present in you, this non-judgmental 0 point, you have access to all knowing of everything at any time. And it's a very powerful existence, because when I say power, it's a very loving existence. We are in deep harmony with ourselves and with others in a way that is constructive for the whole, because we understand the consequences, we understand compassion, we are humble, we have deep, deep sense of humility, and we can see the cause and effect of our actions in this creative dimensions, both physical and non-physical. The human body becomes this incredible creative potential, which is a centripetal spin. When we are in a centripetal spin, we are operating from the heart. The 3 centers of the body, the Qing, the Qi, the Shen. The integration of the Qing is the regulation of your nervous system, the cultivation of the 0 point. And from there, emerges the heart center of profound compassion. Compassion for all lower forms of consciousness, lower forms of desires, fears, survival mechanisms. The alchemy is in turning the belief, the limiting beliefs of your desires, limiting beliefs of your fears, limiting beliefs of your survival behaviors into pure love. Love for who? For yourself. A deep compassion for yourself, a deep love for yourself. In the embodiment of deep love and compassion for yourself, making sure that you are in right order, that you are in harmony in this moment right now, that is the embodiment of this higher spiritual consciousness. It's not even spiritual consciousness. It is the embodiment of that infinite potential, which is an innate part of you. It is innate. Every single one of you, you are already that. You just simply need to shift from a contracted perception into a more expanded perception. The expansion of your perception is the letting go of the need to control, letting go of resistance, letting go of denial, letting go of judgment. Extremely important that you work with these aspects, especially at this time. And the universe is so beautiful. It's so unbelievably divine that the cosmic movements, you see, because everything is evolving, planets are evolving, universes are evolving, we are receiving the waves of information from our planetary brothers and sisters in their evolutionary process. Some of them are already reaching some of these more advanced states. They already see what's coming in this collective evolutionary weather, you can say. And they transmit through the sun patterns of information. The sun is a vortex that feeds information and life force into every planet of this solar system. And through the field, through our own plasma, through the waters of our bodies, we absorb this information. We absorb it in dream state. The more dense your physical body is, the less you're able to pick up these informations. You are closed off, you are blocked off, you're stuck in the physical, and the physical is very finite, and the physical is very much of an illusion. It's very temporary, and it's an incomplete truth. It's an incomplete truth. So if your entire existence, your personalities, your careers, your relationships are based on finite truths, you're in trouble. You're going to experience suffering. You're going to experience a removal, a change, a shift of these things, because we are going into infinite frequencies. And to become multidimensional means to be able to sustain broader bands of wavelengths through our physical body, mind, body, and soul, which means that we open up the channels in which we are receiving through the source cord this information. So when these planetary cosmic movements are moving, they're telling us something. They're telling us what needs to be worked on. If you pay attention to the universal astrology of things, you can get some glimpses, some ideas of what humans are needing to focus on right now in order to come into harmony. However, if you come into connection with nature on your own without looking at all of that, if you come into the 0 point, you're always going to know what needs to be worked on because you receive it directly. So this is what it's called, to transcend the influences of these cosmic movements. You exist in the 0 point and you connect to the all-knowing, to that field of consciousness, and you channel your own understanding of what needs to be evolved through you. Every single human on this planet is a puzzle piece to the whole, but we are all evolving. And humans, because we're evolving through limiting belief systems collectively, we have a lot of shared karmic lessons, you can say, shared experiences that we are transcending. So at this time, it's the release of resistance, the release of denial, the release of inauthenticity, and the ability for you to come into your greatest authenticity, your most authentic self, I should say, and embody that. Okay, so in today's meditation, we're going to work with the layers of resistance that we have been holding on to in not allowing these the connection to that infinite field. So I invite you to take a look, not only in today's little meditation, but in your own meditation, because there's a lot. So you're going to notice there's so many things that you can address there. All right, let's get into it. Go ahead and get really nice and comfortable. Go ahead and ground yourself down to the center of the earth. Allow yourself to come fully into your body. Go ahead and observe if you are disassociating with your body, if you're disassociating with your feelings right now. Notice if any part of you is trying to block certain thoughts, certain feelings, intimations. Bring yourself fully into your body. Notice if you resist the awareness of your energy body. Truth feels very expanded and relaxing. So if any part of your body is in a state of contraction, any muscle in your body is contracted, pay attention to what you're holding on to there, what you're resisting there. So let's go ahead and do a full body scan from the crown of the head down into the face, releasing the cheekbones, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. Down into the chest, into the arms, to the hands, going down into your solar plexus, going down into your hips, into your back, down into your thighs, into your knees, shins, calves, ankles, feet. Take your awareness to the back of your body. Pay attention to your posture, how you're holding your energy in your posture. See if you need to open the pathways of life force down your spine. Pay attention to your breathing. Is your breathing blocked or contracted, or is your belly tight, not letting the air go all the way into the lower abdomen? Is your chest contracted and tight? Can you feel the air entering your body in the back, lower back of your body? Let's begin by connecting our source cord. Go ahead and visualize a pillar of light down through the crown of your head, in through the center of your body, down the perineum and down into the center of the earth. Breathing. Silence your mind. Any thoughts, questions, ideas, images. Focus purely on the present moment, in this time, in this space. Give yourself a moment to quiet any thoughts as you observe yourself in the stillness, in the silence. Just observing how your body adjusts to the stillness and the silence. Let's begin to work with the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and shrink the root chakra down to the size of a dime. Go up into the sacral chakra. Go ahead and shrink the sacral chakra down to the size of a dime. Go into the solar plexus. Go ahead and shrink your chakra down to the size of a dime. And gently expand your heart. And expand your throat. Expand your third eye. Go ahead and visualize the bubble around your body. See yourself inside of this field of energy, completely intact. You're going to bring from the center of the earth a powerful wave of green earth energy up your legs into your solar plexus, creating a vortex of energy. From source, go ahead and bring down a powerful wave of cosmic energy, comes down to the crown of your head, combining with the earth energy. Go ahead and take 10% of that combination back down to the center of the earth. Take 80% of that life force now up your spine from the crown of your head, coating the outside of your bubble. Taking that cosmic and earth energy all around you, disconnecting you from the matrix, people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you, or things that we connected to unconsciously. Go ahead and take that final 10% into your body now, absorbing into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of your body. Okay, let's begin by clearing our energy body. Go ahead and clear 13 layers of your body. Remember, you can send it down to the center of the earth, or you can send it up to the crown of your head. Everything goes to source either way. Go ahead and fill your space with golden light wherever you are. Fill your room, your house with golden light. Ground your house, ground your room. And then come back to yourself. Pay attention to your present moment. I want you to begin to observe yourself in the past week. I want you to begin to observe yourself. What is your greatest challenge? Greatest challenge that you're working with at this time internally for you? What causes you the greatest, strongest emotion this week? Of resistance, of fear. And once you tap into that emotion, go ahead and be absolutely present with that emotion in this present moment. Go ahead and observe now how this has affected you emotionally. Go ahead and name out the emotions that come up as you sit with this emotion fully. Just begin to notice which one of those emotions is the strongest. Allow yourself that every contracted emotion you feel in your body that you acknowledge by naming it out. Go ahead and select the strongest of these emotions. Be absolutely present with this emotion. Observe yourself as you are feeling this emotion. What parts of your body contract? Observe. As you observe the strongest of those emotions, we're going to take ourselves back now to the very first time that we felt that emotion. As you tune into the memory of this experience, you're going to be very neutral. Your first three chakras are closed, your top three are open, allowing you to see beyond the limitations of our perception at the time without getting entangled with it. Go ahead and notice now what you need. What is the need, the internal need? What need is not being met? And as you begin to establish what is the belief here, the belief is a product of the need that's not met. So as a result of the need that's not met, you formed a belief about yourself, about others. So this is the key core root program. We're going to fact check this program to see if it's in alignment with the greater truth. So as you take a look at this belief system, just ask yourself, is it true? So you observe that it's not true. Ask yourself, what is true? And as you observe that, you'll notice that many aspects of your body begin to release any tension, any contraction. I want you to observe how many generations are repeating this belief system. First, go down your mother's line. Right now, you are accessing the Akashic records by yourself on your own. Trust what comes up. If you believe that you don't have the answer to that, you're going to block yourself from seeing the answer. This is not imagination. This is your ability to access the field that you're exercising right now. So as you begin to see generations that have experienced this, let's go down the father's line now. How many generations down your father's lineage are you repeating this? As you begin to observe this, your understanding of your purpose will become more clear. I want you to ask yourself, what is it that you need in order to no longer fear? What do you need in order to no longer believe this belief system? Go ahead and see all the fractals of yourself from childhood until now that have repeated this in their life. I want you to observe moments of betrayal, self-betrayal, self-rejection, self-denial, self-resistance. Just observe how we are embodying and enacting this belief in the many stages of our lives. As you begin to integrate these fractals into oneself in front of you, what is it that you need in order to embody your highest expression at this time? What do you need to nurture all these fractals? Whatever the answer is, you're going to create a color for this answer. Go ahead and visualize that you are filling your body right here, right now, in your meditation with this color. Fill your bubble with the color of healing. Every color has a meaning from the range of vibrational frequency. As you allow yourself to infuse yourself with this meaning, this frequency, this understanding, go ahead and merge this fractal into your body. I want you to see the room full of karmic contracts. This room is filled with all the agreements that you made coming into this human temporary experience in order to evolve. I want you to shine your crown light on top of them, and we're going to dissolve them. We don't wish to learn them through suffering and pain and unconsciousness, but rather from awareness, from harmony. Very good. As you begin to collect all these fractals of yourself, inhale deeply, taking them fully into your body now. We're going to let our ancestors go, filling them with this healing light. Go ahead and take a moment to come back into your body as you begin to work with your root chakra, as you open your root chakra back up. Your sacral, your solar, treating your heart, your throat, your third eye. Go ahead and activate the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And go ahead and strengthen and expand your source cord into your body. You're just going to allow your body to adjust to this alignment at this time now. I want you to come into the 0 point, observing in a non-judgmental observation of yourself or anything that you're feeling, thinking, seeing, sensing. Letting go of any contraction and coming into a state of observation. Be fully present in your body. Don't fall asleep or don't lose your awareness. Don't leave your body. Be fully in your body. Be fully in observation. Go ahead and open your eyes and come back into the room. And with your eyes open, I want you to continue that meditation for just 1 more minute. In absolute observation without judgment. Be fully in your body. Notice if any part of you wants to contract. Breathe deeply into the base of your spine. You'll notice that here in the 0 point, everything is perfect. Everything is still. There's no danger, there's no harm. And this week, I invite you to train your trust in this state as many times as you possibly can throughout your day. And as soon as you forget when you're doing something, bring yourself back. Don't worry about rushing. Don't worry about anxiety, being afraid. We're going to break this pattern. You guys did amazing. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It was an honor to work with you. And let me come over here into the questions in case anybody has any questions. Let me see over here. Julie Goring. Hi, Julie. So we don't send the Zoom link. We actually send the link for you to join and register on the website. So anytime you guys have a hard time finding anything, just go directly to the website and you can register and join by accessing directly the event. And the Zoom link is sent to you when you register, okay? All right, Aquamarine says, hi Geraldine, I booked a session, but the earliest is the 8th. Anyone sooner? No, I'm so sorry. We're very booked right now until May. So definitely check in to your account to see what's going on there. Maybe Amala can help you. Trisha McKenna, so great to see you. I'm feeling a lot of energy through my body, and it's very uncomfortable to sit right now. Yeah, that's the same thing a lot of people have been saying. So that's exactly why I did this meditation today, and I hope it's helped you. It's really the releasing of resistance. The more you resist, or the more you force yourself to sit calm, the more challenging it is. It's just come into the observer. Just come into the observer, come to the 0 point, and that's when things are just going to begin to come into their order naturally. Jason, great to see you. Light Warrior. Galería Salvador, estoy siguiendo en español, muy agradecida por tu tiempo. Les ruego que no nos olvides para las personas que hablan español. Yes. Galería, muchas gracias. Esta semana vamos a hacer la segunda parte. Esto va a ser en español, ¿ok? Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Thank you so much, Christy. So great to see you. Inga, thank you so much for that super chat. Love you. Deep, deep gratitude. So grateful for you. Thank you so much. The eclipse was, I believe, yesterday. So yes, it is. But of course, a lot of people might be feeling the effects and still feeling them through the week. Sharon, thank you so much. Liza, love you. Stephen, another important lesson messages time. Thank you so much, Stephen. It was an honor to be with you here. Love you. Terry, really lovely. Thank you so much. Christian, phenomenal. What a blessing. Thank you so much. Deep gratitude. Goddess Cheryl, thank you. Love you. Myrtil, Radha, blessings. Malu, thank you so much. I feel so much lighter. I know that's the beauty of this work. And you know, it's just, to me, it's just so beautiful that there's an architecture to the human body that you can just simply by understanding how we function, we come back into right order, right? That's just pretty divine. Jason, thank you so much, Geraldine, for today's session. I was really in touch with my ancestral lineage and I felt the connection so powerfully. I felt I healed them and myself as well. Wow, that's amazing. See, just by that tiny little meditation, you were able to access that. So that's huge. Thank you, Goddess. Much love, everyone. Have an amazing week. And if you guys can, my father is going in for a surgery tomorrow. And if you can send some little healing energy, I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I will see you later. Bye.